Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So with these Dragon Hunts we can get some of the best gear within the game, including all of this new fancy mythic stuff. But what you need is dragon parts, and in order to obtain those you need your modifiers. And I've gone and maxed out every single last one of them. We have all 12 maxed out. And the reason you need these modifiers is again for these dragon parts, and you can see which dragon parts you need for which gear and thus which modifiers you need for those parts. So I'd like to show you how I managed to max these all out within less than a week. And I really didn't put much effort in. There will be timestamps in the video description below along with the play bar. Just keep in mind the reason that you want to unlock and max out modifiers is that, for example, medium modifiers will increase the amount of parts you obtain per drop, and hard and extreme once on maxed will guaranteed give you the parts you need. So firstly, I'm going to show you the sheer cost and the amount of strands you need to unlock and upgrade all those modifiers, along with other places that you actually need those strands for. Then we'll go on to which companion you should be using for my AFK method, and then I'll show you all of the locations for each of the different elemental strand types. And this will allow you to easily and efficiently get all those elemental strands you need with minimal effort. So firstly, I'd like to give a special thanks to all of these channel members for helping me keep my channel going, and let's jump into it. Now the cost to get these parts upgraded will cost you these elemental strands along with astral diamonds. And this is the cost for the easy ones and the medium ones, and then you have the cost for the hard ones and the extreme ones. So in total, to max out all of your modifiers, you're spending 1.5 million astral diamonds and 60,000 elemental strands. So I'd like to show you the best ways in order to obtain those elemental strands and how I did it to max out every single modifier. Again, you need 60,000 of these elemental strands, and I've gone and done that grind. You can see no more do I have any of these reagents down here because there's nothing to spend here anymore. The only place you'll be seeing those now is here, the elemental strands. What can you do with those once you've unlocked all those modifiers and upgraded them to max? Well, you will still need elemental strands to actually buy gear. You can see you need 1,000 for this purple stuff. For these mythic rings down the bottom, you also need 1,000, and for this mythic gear you need 1,250, and I believe that's all the way down throughout the legendary gear. The artifacts actually needing 2,500. So you will still need to be grinding a bunch of those elemental strands, and yes indeed you can get those elemental strands to drop from just killing dragons. You can get them from just doing content and killing enemies. But be warned, do not farm these elemental strands while in a party. And so if you're just running other content like dungeons and dragon hunts, the amount you obtain is ridiculously low. So I would highly recommend you go and do this AFK method to get all those strands you need. And the exact way it works is that when you go and you kill an enemy, you can get a drop once every 30 seconds upon a kill. And I've actually found it's not guaranteed upon a kill. You want to kill a few enemies within that 30 seconds to be able to get that drop. And the drops are like this, on average about 50 per drop of that elemental strand. And every about 15% of the time, you will actually get a drop of Chromatic elemental strands, which the only place you will use them is by donating them to the guild. And I'll show you how many, let's say, guild marks we can get for donating over 12,000 of them, because that's what we've obtained with having to grind out the rest of the elemental strands. And we can see we have the ×2 guild marks event, so this is even the best time to do this. So before we go into the locations, what companion would I use best for AFKing to kill the enemies for you while you just stand there and do nothing? Well, I've gone through a bunch of them, and so far I found the Mystic Fiora is actually the best. And the reason being is it has an aura ability. When you go into a fight, your companion comes along, and you can see I'm just standing here. So none of the enemies attack me, which means I'm very less likely gonna die. The companion takes all the damage and does all the killing while you just stand there and do nothing. What happens when you run with a separate companion that, let's say, only has single target capabilities? Well, when you go in combat, I haven't even hit them, well, that companion sure knocks the rest of them, starts just attacking one guy while I still take a bunch of damage. and if these enemies are particularly nasty, well, they could kill me before my companion actually manages to kill them all. And so my highest recommendation is the Mystic Fiora, because of that ability to just, with its aura, hit everybody around it, which means a lot less of the enemies will attack me because they're being hit by my companion. So you can see we go near enough to my companion and they all get hit by our aura and I no longer get attacked. And very fortunately, I'm pretty sure all of you have that companion, and if you don't, well, you might not have finished Icefire Peak Adventure campaign, and you can pick up this free Mystic Fiora. Don't worry about upgrading it, just try and have a good high companion enhancement. The higher the better, because the more damage then that companion will deal, and the quicker they'll be able to kill the enemies. So where do I AFK for those elemental strands? Now when I say AFK, I mean you leave your character standing there, you leave your computer, but you're going to have to come back every 15 minutes to click that OK button so that you don't get kicked from the server. So you can't just leave your computer there for hours. You're going to have to check back every now and again. Using any other external software is against the terms of service. First up, we have the Decayed Elemental strand. Here, my favorite spot is within Never Death Graveyard. We make our way from the gateway to the right here, heading over this rickety bridge, and then we simply head to the left here, where we have these zombies. And my favorite spot is just here, smack bang between this group and that group. But just before you start AFKing, just kill one of the groups, you get your drop from doing so, and then you need to go and wait 30 seconds. Once that time has passed, we can judge it by our artifact timer or a doohickey or your wondrous hawk. You go and kill the second group, and then you just simply stand in your AFK spot. Then at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds later, you can see the Hulk spawns back, and we can go and simply kill him. Our companion will aggro him and will kill him himself, so you don't need to do any other work. Then another 30 seconds later, and the enemy group on the other side spawns, and your companion will aggro them, or you'll aggro them, and your companion will just kill them, and by doing so, you will then get your drop. So next up, we move to the Crackling Elemental strands. Here, I like to go to Undermountain, and I like to go to the Twisted Gate, or you can go to Well's End, but you're ending up in the Catacombs. You can see me just on the map there. We make our way to our location, and so we head up this little flight of steps, and there's going to be two groups of enemies. Usually somebody must have killed this group, but there's this group here. You can just go initially kill them and they will spawn pretty quickly again, and they drop us the Crackling. Again, you want to wait 30 seconds, excuse the artifacts, but it says that's for artifact calls, so people know I'm casting my artifact and should correspond cast theirs as well. Now we want to stand just here, so a group will spawn there and another group will spawn there. There we go, the group spawns. However, we haven't had 30 seconds pass, so hopefully this companion doesn't kill them all before that timer has refreshed and we can actually get a drop. You can see there's our 30 seconds, so the next guy kills him and we get our Crackling. And then by standing here, potentially another 30 seconds, the next group will spawn on the other side and the companion will go and kill them. Rinse and repeat. This is the spot in Catacombs for the Crackling Elemental strands. The next group of enemies has already spawned. My companion kills the guy and we get another drop. Now for Verdent, I have one spot within Undermountain, which is decent. I wouldn't say it's like the best. There is a really good spot here, but unfortunately the enemies deal quite a heavy amount of damage. I tend to just stand within this group of enemies. So in this spot right here beside the old gate, we can just stand here. You have this poor Harper guy there who's all frightened. And after about a minute and 30 seconds or so, the enemies will spawn again. As you can see, I don't know why we didn't actually see them, but the companion just went and killed them and we got our chromatic drop. And that's where you could AFK for the Verdant. Now, the best spot is actually up here. You have one group here which you would kill, and then you would wait 30 seconds before you go to the AFK spot. But we're not going to wait. You would AFK like just on here. The problem is, one of these guys deals a ton of damage, and they do so much damage that even your companion will get killed very quickly. Our companion's actually gone off and attacking those guys. You can see the amount of damage we've taken. I just haven't found it to be feasible to AFK there because you just die, and if you're dead you don't get any drops because your companion isn't there anymore either. Another spot would be in the Reclamation Rock, and we're just heading up this way near the Heroic Encounter, and you have these two groups of enemies. Again, you'd want to kill one group of enemies, then make sure your companion doesn't kill the other group, which they totally just did, and you would AFK just here, kind of between the two groups. One group's there and the other group's there. Again, you want to get the timing between the two groups that they spawn with a time of greater than 30 seconds between them. Next up, we go to the Charred Elemental Strand, and this time we go to the Fiery Pit. Now in this hub area here, we want to go and just head to the right. And my AFK spot is just here, between these two groups of enemies. Again, you can see both of them get aggroed just by you standing here. It might take them a little bit of time, and on the map, that's just up here. Again, you can see we're dropping the Charred Elemental Strands. Again, you want to get the time difference between the two groups. You need to express that. Now for the final element, we have Frozen. Here I like to go to Icespire Peak. We make our way, as you can see on the map, just here to these two groups. You can see all the lockboxes there. I have been AFKing here a bunch earlier today. And again, you want to just kill one group and you'll get your drop of your Frozen Elemental Strand, and then you want to wait 30 seconds before you AFK, and we go and AFK just on top of this rock. Now, in all of these spots that I've said, none of the enemies will knock you about, so they usually don't push you anywhere, which means you can safely AFK there and not get, let's say, pushed into a place where you can't aggro the enemies anymore. Now, there is one mob though in this spot that can push you. There's our Frozen Elemental Strand, which can be a little bit annoying. So if you're AFKing here, you might want to check back every now and again. And of course you will be doing that because you'll want to be clicking that OK button so it doesn't kick you for being AFK. And overall, those are my 6 spots for AFKing to get your Elemental Strands. And so lastly, how many guild marks can I make? We have a total of 13,000 now of these Chromatic Elemental Strands after a bit of AFKing between making this video, and we can donate them to the guild coffer for Treasures of Tyranny. You can see them all here, and if we were to type out how many we have, we would obtain only just 8,686 guild marks. A little bit sad we do so, and that's it. And that was even with a ×2 guild mark event. So originally would only just be obtaining over 4,000. So not really feasible, I think, AFKing for Chromatic Strands. Now, yes, indeed, I'm only really sharing this with you guys because it took me quite a while to be able to find those spots, and then I wanted to make use of those spots before everybody else occupies them. There are, of course, multiple other spots, I'm sure, that I didn't find within the game, and your best bet is to find a place of your own. This I've made public now, so you'll probably see one person in every single of those areas and spots for some time now until they have their modifiers. And that being said, unfortunately these modifiers are not account wide. You may very well want to upgrade them on every single character that you want to do Dragon Hunts on. However, there's nothing stopping you from using the modifier and then switching character. Shush shush, I never said that. So again, hopefully this was somewhat insightful and helpful as how to AFK for your Elemental Strands. Minimal effort required. So again, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. Now if I present this well, consider leaving the video a like. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.